In this video, I want to talk about how I turn losing ad campaigns into winning ad campaigns for my music, and this might surprise you. Hey, it's John here at Hyped. I launch a lot of ad campaigns for my own music. I do see a lot of ad campaigns that other music artists run either by using Hyped or being part of any of the coaching groups that I host. And so most of the time I get positive feedback and my campaigns run really well, but there is every once in a while a campaign that doesn't pull its weight, a promo campaign that doesn't perform as either I expected or the music artist who launched it expected. So what do you do with these campaigns? How do you turn a losing ad campaign into a winning ad campaign? That's what I want to talk about in this video. But before we jump in, don't forget to hit the subscribe, the like, and the bell icon below so that you can get more videos like this about music promotion on YouTube. When it comes to running ad campaigns for your music, the truth is this, okay? Just as not every song is a hit, not every ad campaign is a hit. Now, the good news is that it is a lot easier to have a winning ad campaign than it is to have a hit song. And I know this well because I've used the type of ad campaigns that I'm talking here to grow my music from 0 to now over 7 million streams on Spotify, but I don't know how to write hits, all right? And this is just me being self-critical, okay? The bottom line here is I love making music. I do. I get lost in the process. I spend hours and hours making music and it fills me with joy. It's so fulfilling. But the reality is that I'm not a specially talented music artist. I do not know how to write hits. If I could, I would. But I really don't. So, you know, I have fans for my music that love my music and really enjoy listening to a lot of it. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm not a hit music producer. But I do know how to run great ads, all right? So if I can, with mediocre music production skills, but good ad skills, get my music to millions of streams, hundreds of thousands of listeners over time, and tens of thousands of fans, then so can you. And all of this is to say that putting together a winning ad campaign is pretty easy, especially today where we have software and AI doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. But when we talk about why some campaigns win and some others don't, it's important to understand what are the key ingredients to a winning ad campaign, what goes into it. So here's the key. You want to put the right type of song in front of the right type of audience, and you want to give it enough data for the AI to optimize that delivery of that ad campaign. With these key ingredients in mind, song, audience, and data, I want to walk you through 3 steps that I take in order to turn losing campaigns into winning campaigns. Step number 1 is the evaluation. How do I even know if a campaign is a loser or a winner? What's important is to recognize that every music artist makes a different kind of music, has a different sound, and oftentimes promotes music to a different audience, different interests, maybe different countries. So it is very, very difficult to compare your results to the results of other artists. And I know we have a lot of artists in our community that share results in our Facebook groups and publicly. And so a lot of these results are visible. But if you feel like, oh, some of these numbers, they look better than the numbers that you're getting, don't be discouraged, all right? The same happens to me. There are a lot of music artists in our community that are getting a lot better numbers than I can. And it's because they make a different kind of music and they promote it to a different kind of audience. I want to give you an example. What I see in our community and with some of the artists that I work with in our community is that music put together in playlists that are related to relaxation, sleep help, or music for studying do extremely well. So a lot of this is either classical music or chill music, and I see results for the same budget that I use for my music that are so much bigger. And it's just amazing how that is possible just because this is a different type of music targeted to a very specific audience. So again, don't compare your results to the results of other artists. What you want to do instead is you want to establish your own baseline, all right? So how does that work? If this is your very first campaign, you've never run a campaign before, make sure you run this campaign for at least 30 days to establish a baseline. And if you can, launch a second or a third campaign. If you have multiple songs competing against each other, or even having multiple campaigns going out to different audiences, you will quickly see which of these campaigns are doing better and which ones are not doing that great. All of this is extremely valuable information because it allows you to dial in your baseline, so to speak. That level that allows you to see, all right, if I'm performing above this, that's a great thing. If I perform below this, that is an underperforming campaign. You need that baseline to tell how your campaigns are performing. Now, in terms of metrics, here's what I like to look at. The first one is the cost per result that I'm getting, and this is information that I'm pulling out of Hyped. And then the second data point that I like to look at is the engagement rate, which is basically how many clicks am I getting for the visits to my smart link. Higher engagement rate usually relates to lower cost per click or cost per result, and that means for the same budget, you're getting a better overall campaign performance. All of this data is readily available in Hyped. You can get it from your ads dashboard or by clicking on the analytics icon on your dashboard and then looking up the engagement rate on the analytics page. And if you're in a situation where you've run multiple campaigns before and you've already established a baseline from prior experience, then use that in order to evaluate your campaigns. Bottom line here is you can't evaluate the campaign performance in a vacuum. You need to be able to compare it to the performance of other campaigns that you've run with your own music. And this is exactly what I do for my music. Even though I might be envious of some of the amazing results that I see, again, specifically in the fields of, music for relaxation, music for studying, and sleep help, I can't get those results with my music. It's just a completely different genre, a completely different audience, and it's not comparable. So I see those numbers, but I don't use them as reference for my own music. What I do instead is I launch a new campaign, I see the results that I'm getting, and then I'm checking against my other campaigns and the results I'm getting for my other songs, whether this is a winner or whether it's a loser. And with that said, let's move on to step number 2, what to do if your campaign is not performing up to your expectations. So let's say you launch a new campaign, the cost per result is high, the engagement rate is low, and this is not what you expected, and you have other campaigns that have done much better. So this one's probably not a winner, this looks like a loser. What do you do? In such a case, I go back to the basic ingredients of a winning campaign: the song, the audience, and the data. If the campaign's not performing well, first of all, I will give it time. So that speaks to the data. I want to let it run at least 30 days. And here's why this is so important. The AI works in your favor, right? It constantly works to optimize your campaign. So I recently launched a campaign that started at 40 something cent per conversion, right? Right off the gate, this campaign looked like it was a loser because the cost per result was so high, much higher than what I was getting on all my other campaigns. But what I did is I gave it time. And what happened over 30 days is that this cost per result just came down and came down and came down. And it came actually down so much that this campaign turned into my now best performing campaign. So something that looked like a loser right out of the gate became a winner just by me waiting and giving it 30 days for the AI to optimize. It literally went from a cost per conversion that was over 40 cents to now below 20 cents. Which means for the same budget, I'm getting more than double the results, more than double the listeners on that campaign. Now, while it's not unusual for a campaign to optimize in this way, there are the other 2 ingredients here. So if you have an underperforming campaign and you see no hope of a better performance, what you can do is launch a new campaign with a new song. So pause this one, launch with a new song, or keep the song and relaunch the campaign to a different audience. In both of these cases, you are pulling the best levers that you have to significantly improve the campaign performance, which is all about matching the right song with the right audience. So testing a new song or testing 2 different audiences gives you the best chance of creating a new winning campaign. And this is where you're constantly getting in more data and you can always see, okay, which of the campaigns is the best performing one? And that's where you shift the budget to, right? That's how you improve your overall results, the overall number of fans, listeners, and streams that you're getting on Spotify. This is exactly what I do with my music as well. I have a new release out, I launch a campaign. If that doesn't perform, I might experiment with a different audience. If I can't get it to work, I shift the budget back to my best performing campaigns in my account. Always have multiple campaigns running. Usually it is for the newest release, but then I also have my evergreen campaign, which is the best performing campaign. And that could be for an old song, it could be for a relatively new song. It's really all driven by which song and which campaign gets me the best results. So I think what's important here is to not be afraid to turn something off that doesn't deliver what you want. If the song doesn't perform, if the audience doesn't perform, it's perfectly fine turning it off. I just recommend that you don't call it a defeat, but you call it a test and take that budget and now launch a new campaign. Move it forward so that over time you're finding these winners, these winning ad campaigns that just get you more fans, listeners, and streams for your music. Which brings me to step number 3 that I want to talk about, which is what not to do in order to turn a losing campaign into a winning campaign. And this may surprise you because I'm getting this question a lot. The question usually is, hey John, how should I edit my campaign? Should I turn off underperforming countries? Should I turn off underperforming age segments, underperforming placements, underperforming ads? And where this question is coming from is that if you go into Facebook Ads Manager, you get a ton of data. You can break down the data by interest, by age, by country, by ad, and what have you. And technically, that gives you the opportunity to dive deep, spend lots of time on the data, and try to carve out the best performing combinations of assets and the underperforming combination of assets, and then try to manually turn off the ones that don't work, and maybe manually try to push more of the budget to the combinations that you do see working. And the truth is, this is how I did manage my ad campaigns a couple of years back. This is what I do. I'd sit down in front of the computer for an hour or so, dissect all my ads, and try to manually move the budget. But I don't do that anymore. And there are 2 reasons for this. And the first one is that the AI has gotten so good with finding those niche audience that match up with most songs that I promote that I can't beat that. It's just so effective that I suggest if I try to manually optimize the campaign that I was just talking about a little earlier, the one that went from above 40 cent cost per conversion to under 20, I probably wouldn't have been able to, but the software was able to do it. So in most cases, I wouldn't be able to do a better job than the software. And the second reason is that when I have manually managed campaigns in the past, I was able to get these campaigns to improve, but usually those improvements are marginal. So you might be able to save a penny in your cost per conversion here, or move your engagement up by a percentage point by twisting something here or changing something there. But basically what you're doing, you're investing a lot of time and brain power, analyzing all the data, making all these changes for a relatively small gain. And what I've experienced is that if I've taken that time that would have taken me to analyze the campaign to the degree necessary in order to make all these manual tweaks and then actually tweak it and then have to reanalyze it to see how that performs. If I take that time and to just put it into making a new song, coming up with a new song idea, or writing 2 or 3 amazing emails to my fans, emails that maybe send them back to my playlist on Spotify, or emails that highlight a merch item that I have in my merch store, the payoff has been a lot better. So I'm thinking a lot about the return on my time. What return am I getting on the time that I have to invest into my music? And this just goes back to me having a full-time job, having a family, having kids, and my time to make music and promote my music is already so limited that I really want to make sure for the time that I can invest, I'm getting the biggest return. And it's just not there with manually editing these ads. If I take that hour and I put it towards an email campaign or towards a new song that gives me an opportunity to launch a new campaign later on, that helps me much more grow my music, grow my listeners, grow my audience. So again, for me, the biggest wins have come from just letting the computer, letting the software, letting the AI do its thing automatically. All right, let me summarize the 3 key takeaways here that I think can help you the most turning your losing ad campaigns into winning ad campaigns. Takeaway number 1 is this: accept that not all ad campaigns are winners. Most of them are, but just the same way not all songs are hits, not all ad campaigns are winners. So it is absolutely okay to sometimes turn off a campaign, take that budget, move it into a winning campaign, or launch a new campaign, as long as you keep moving forward. Key takeaway number 2, evaluate your campaigns only against other campaigns that you've run. Don't compare yourself to other music artists. Accept the fact that your music is unique, your audience that you're going for is unique. So all that matters is your baseline, right? Your data, how are you performing cost per result wise and engagement wise? And then compare yourself against that to identify whether a new campaign is either a winner or an underperformer. And key takeaway number 3 is, instead of trying to manually manage your campaign and pouring lots of time and effort into something that software and AI do a much better job at optimizing for you these days. Just pull the big levers. If you want to fix a campaign that seems like it's broken, try a new song, try a new audience, or give it more time to collect data. Want to get your music heard on Spotify with AI? I just launched a brand new video training program called the Spotify Growth Switch, where I show you how to start growing real listeners, real fans, and real streams on Spotify in less than 10 minutes using software and AI. I've used the Spotify Growth Switch system to now grow my music to over 7 million streams and tens of thousands of monthly listeners on Spotify. This works for any music genre. It gets you real fans and listeners super fast, and it's extremely easy to set up, literally just like flipping a spotlight switch for your music. Despite using AI, you don't need to know nothing about tech stuff in order to be successful with this. I've had the tremendous privilege of helping multiple tens of thousands of music artists grow their music on Spotify, many of which have grown to much larger numbers, lots more listeners, lots more streams than I have using the systems that I've taught. Makes me so proud of their success. And so if you want to get more real listeners, real fans, and real streams for your music fast using state-of-the-art software and AI, then click the link below this video and check out the Spotify Growth Switch. I can't wait to help you grow your music on Spotify, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside.